Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the council meeting for Wednesday, September the 27th. We'll call this meeting to order, and the first item of business is the land acknowledgement. We are gathering on lands that have been home to First Nations people from time immemorial. We acknowledge that what we now call Richmond Hill is on the treaty lands of the territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation and the Mississaugas and Chippewa Nations of the Williams Treaty. We also recognize that we are on part of the traditional territories of the Haudenosaunee and the Huron-Wendat. We would like to acknowledge all First Nation, Inuit, and Métis people from across North America or Turtle Island who now reside in the city of Richmond Hill. We are committed to rebuilding constructive and cooperative relationships. So that being said, I'd like everybody, if you can, to stand for our national anthem. Okay, thank you, everybody. The next item on the agenda is a public forum. I don't believe we have any delegates for that today. The next item after that is council announcements. Regional Local Councillor Chan.
Good morning. I just want to share with everyone, I'm going to host a Mid-Autumn Festival to celebrate. This is Mid-Autumn Festival is important cultural festivities in the Chinese culture. And I'd like to extend invitation to all family members in this Richmond Hill community to join on Saturday, September 30th, from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. in Lansdowne Community Center. And if you will be there, you might have a chance to meet some legendary figure in costumes for the celebration of Mid-Autumn Festival. If you haven't tried before, there will be mooncakes. So everyone is welcome. There's a cultural performances from 3 to 5 this Saturday, September 30th at Lansdowne Community Center in Richmond Hill. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Regional Local Councillor DePaula.
Okay, two things, Mr. Mayor. I just want to acknowledge that October 1st represents the first anniversary of the historic march on our library grounds at Young and Major Mackenzie for the demonstration in support of Masa Amini, and that's something to be mindful of for Richmond Hill. I really believe it's a milestone, and that we've discussed it and debated how best to commemorate that, and I think it's important. This is the last time we'll meet as a council before that day, October 1st, this Sunday coming up. It's an important day, I believe, and I just want to take this opportunity also to indicate that I'm going to be presenting a notice of motion for in time to the clerk's office. I'll get the wording on this, but my intention and my hope is that this council could discuss once a year convening a council meeting in the vicinity of Yonge and Major Mac, somewhere. I want to leave it really open-ended, and hopefully our staff can look into it. And if our procedural bylaw allows for us to have a meeting once a year in a duly convened council meeting in say the library or the McConaughey Center or somewhere in that vicinity that works on a trial basis. When sports franchises can consider joining a league or something like that. The NFL tries a game in London, or the CFL tried a game in Halifax on the East Coast. To consider if that's a viable venue, and I think it's time for us to consider the possibilities that, and all the considerations that would go into moving our council location. I don't think it's complicated anymore. I don't think we have the office requirements that we had in the past that need the construction of a massive building. I think it may be an easier transition, and I'd like us to investigate that. I'm just giving notice that at next week's committee of the whole, I'd like to bring a member's motion regarding this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Thompson.
Thank you. I just wanted to let everybody know that the mayor and I had the pleasure of helping the Curtain Club kick off their 70th season last Friday. They have a great venue throughout the season, a number of different plays, and I really encourage everybody to take part in what we have right here in Richmond Hill in terms of theater. And so the Curtain Club is certainly another one of those venues that if you haven't checked it out, you should check it out. So, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Tree.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Chair. And I have a few announcements here as well. The first one, I want to acknowledge on this Friday, September 29th, will be the Mid-Autumn Festivals. So here I will see a happy holiday for majority of the East Asian communities, also Chinese communities as well. Happy holiday. And also there are a few events. I think our deputy mayor hosting an event to celebrate. Also our MPP, they were hosting events in theater as well to celebrate this festival. If you have time, please join us as well. The second announcement is going to be still same day on September 29th, Friday morning, 10 to 12. I'm going to hosting a small business entrepreneurs forum or discussion meetings, and a lot of the small business owners from Ward 4, for majority from Ward 4, going to join this meeting and have discussing about our economic development status. And also I want to hear what they are concerned about from their perspective for the development of our city. The last one will be, sorry, I forgot. Let me remember it. Apologize for that. I'll remember. I'll come back.
Okay. We'll give you a round two if these things happen. Is there anybody else that would like to make an announcement at this time? Okay. Well, okay. So I've got a couple. I would also like to echo that this Friday marks the Mid-Autumn Festival, also known as the Lantern Festival or Moon Festival. And it's one of the many celebrations that we share as a community that's hosted by the Southeast Asian community, and the Chinese community, of course, is part of that. It's a great opportunity. I've been to many of these events in the past. It's a lot of fun. And if you are a part of that community that celebrates, that's wonderful. And if you're not a part of that community, it's a really great time to come out and partake in some of the festivities. So I wish happiness to all of the families that celebrate. I would also like to acknowledge that our Jewish community has just observed the important holy date of Yom Kippur. And I hope that everybody in that faith has had a meaningful day. Looking ahead, on the 29th is Sukkot, a time for family joy and also to understand our vulnerability. So happy Sukkot and Chag Shemek. Is that right, Councillor?
It's close. Chag Sameach.
Okay, there you go. A little bit of a translation there. Thank you so much. I also would like to say we were proud today as a council to raise the Every Child Matters flag, and it's now flying proudly at City Hall to mark the upcoming September the 30th date. And I think this flag raising, thank you to all of the staff and all of the council that were there today, and to Jay Shea from Odeowin, is an Indigenous leader in our community, for being there and showing our support and, marking our commitment to take steps that we can, and marking progress on the path to truth and reconciliation in our community, but also in our country. And I guess last but not least, and on that note, this Saturday, September the 30th, is the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, Orange Shirt Day, the Every Child Matters Day. And on the grounds of the Richmond Hill Public Library from 2 o'clock until 6 o'clock, we are gathering with Odeowin, an Indigenous not-for-profit group in Richmond Hill, to acknowledge that day. They have a really great lineup of different activities and so on. And I was just speaking to the organizer of that event. There's quite a few people who are already signed up to be there. So I would encourage anybody that wants to be there on that day to come on out. As I said, it's from 2 o'clock until 6 at the library grounds at the Central Library. And it's going to be a beautiful day. So it'll be a wonderful day to partake in some of those very meaningful activities as well. So Councillor Tree, part 2.
Okay, thank you so much. Too many things. So the third announcement is going to be regarding to neighborhood watch program. Yesterday, Mayor and also the Councillor Karen, also Councillor Castillo, and also Scott, we are there. York Region Police announced auto protection events for across the entire York Region, and reported from last year to now, we have around 3,300 cars stolen. And that number is around 12 cars being stolen per day. It's a large numbers. So York Region Police also working with city members and Markham, our city, and also Vaughan cities to launch this event. And hopefully we can reduce the crime scenes a little bit. From Ward 4 perspective, from March of this year, we start the neighborhood watch program. By last week, we almost visiting around 8,000 families. I have around 80 volunteers here as well. So the jobs for Whitesbrook community and also Jefferson community is almost done. Jefferson community is finished. We have 8 blocks there. For the Whitesbrook, we have 8 blocks. We finished 5. Hopefully in next 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to finish up another 3 blocks. We're going to wrap up. And by November, I will send more detailed information about how many residents join the program, how we can work together. And that's my third announcement. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, just to reiterate, that's a good point. So we were at the Vaughan District 4 YRP location yesterday for a press conference to kick off the York Regional Police's Operation Auto Guard. So keep an eye out for the details of that program. But the York Regional Police has been doing a great job and will be launching this program to help to curb auto thefts in the Southern York region, but including Richmond Hill. Okay, so at this point in time, I'm going to ask if there's any introduction of any emergency or time-sensitive matters. Okay. Now, the next item on the agenda, adoption of the agenda. I need a motion for that. Councillor Silovitz, Councillor Tree, all those in favor? Opposed? That carries unanimously. And then disclosures of pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof. Okay, seeing none, Mr. Clerk. The next item is adoption of previous council minutes. We have council meeting held on September 13th, council public meeting held on September 19th, and a special council meeting held on September 20th. And we can do a 3-for-1 special and move those all at once if somebody would be inclined to do so. Regional Local Councillor DePaulo, Councillor Davidson, all those in favor? Okay, that carries unanimously. Identification of items requiring separate discussion. I will say that we will be holding back 15.2 and 15.5 because they're related. I'm not sure. I think the delegation for that has been withdrawn, but we still need to make a decision on that. So we'll hold that. Councillor DiPaolo, you had another item?
No.
Or was that okay? Deputy Mayor Chan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to pull 15.3.1, strategic plan committee engagement summary. As I mentioned last Wednesday, I would like to comment a question on that. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. All right. So we've adopted 9, 1, 2, and 3. We will adopt 15.1, 15.3.2, all the way to 15.3.9, 15.4. The bylaws actually, we have no bylaws, right? Okay. So we don't have to worry about that. And we'll hold back the 3 items that we just talked about, and we'll do 15.2.1 and 15.5 as a 2-for-1 special as well, because they're related. Okay. All right. So, so all those in favor of moving the rest? Should we get a seconder? Well, let's do that then. Okay. Deputy Mayor Chan, Councillor Silovitz, all those in favor? Opposed, carried. I do that every now and again, Mr. Clerk, just to make sure you're listening, and you passed every time. So keep up the good work. All right. So adoption, do we adopt the remainder of the items? We did, right? We just did that. Okay, good. Public hearings, we have none. Presentations, we have none. The delegation has withdrawn. So we will, let's move to 15.2 and 15.5. And Councillor Silovitz, we'll go to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. So I would like to bring forward 15.2 and 15.5. I've spoken with the clerk, and there will be a motion on the floor to receive Commissioner Kwan's memorandum and to put forward the original recommendations to Heritage Richmond Hill Committee.
Okay. Is there is a seconder, Councillor Liu? Okay, any discussion? Councillor DiPaolo?
Well, I'll have to just see the wording, and I have to understand, are we adopting recommendations that were in the committee of the whole?
Okay. Yeah, okay. So the Heritage Richmond Hill has put forward a recommendation, but we received a memo in 15.5 from Commissioner Kwan suggesting that the recommendations are going to be problematic. So the recommendation that is being moved is the original recommendation from the report that went to Heritage Richmond Hill.
Got it. See it there now. Thank you very much.
Okay. Any other, Councillor Davidson?
Thank you for you, Mr. Chair. I'm on that committee. I just want to say the recommendations from the Heritage Committee were wholeheartedly to support keeping as much heritage in Richmond Hill as possible without the fetters of all these rules. And obviously they aren't necessarily something we can go through. So I just want to, as part of the Heritage Committee, I want to commend our members for being so earnest in their wish that we can keep as much history in this town as possible. And I accept the motion. Thank you.
Yep. That's certainly something we always want to do as well. So Councillor Silovitz, you had something to add?
Thank you. I need the clerk's advice here. So agenda item 15.2.1C, sorry, not agenda item, motion. Do I need to move that be removed? Because we're only receiving the original recommendations.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And then I'll make some comments as well. I just don't believe that that's correct.
I'm just confirming through the chair, but actually, so A is just to receive the memo. So my saying B and C on the screen, including CI, that's exactly from the staff report that was presented to Heritage Richmond Hill. Yes. This is staff's recommendation. What appears on B and C on your screen is staff's recommendation from the staff report that went to Heritage Richmond Hill.
Mr. Chair, I need your advice here, because in our discussions that we have had, it's my understanding that the motion is to move for the Horner House located at 9893 Leslie Street does not meet cultural heritage designation, and therefore approve the demolition permit. And that C, which was an amendment that Heritage Richmond Hill put forward at our meeting, and that was approved at Heritage Richmond Hill.
Okay.
But it is my understanding that it is, you need to help me here, that C is not part of this, should not be part of this motion.
Okay, let's just get clarification. So it's my understanding from the clerk just now that C was part of the original recommendation that was made in the staff report to HRH.
So do I need to make an amendment to remove that?
No, because it's, well, unless you want to, but that's part of the recommendation that was going forward.
Yeah, through the chair, subject to the confirmation of the acting commissioner. But my understanding was that council's intent here is to move staff's original recommendation.
That's correct.
That is what it actually is on the screen. What is C actually is in, I've just pulled up a copy of the actual staff report. It actually is part of the staff recommendation.
Okay. So give me one moment while I read this.
I don't know whether planning staff has anything to add to that. I mean, if you do, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine.
That is correct. My apologies. I was thinking of something else. I just want to read number C. That is correct. That is correct. The motion on the screen is correct. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
My apologies.
This was
I'm
a
so
little bit
confused.
confusing. It took me a little bit
Yeah.
of time to get my head around this as well. So
No, that
Okay.
is correct. The motion on the screen is correct. And if I may just add, I want to thank, as chair of Heritage Richmond Hill, I want to thank Councillor Davidson for her input as well. And I want to thank all the members of our committee. We had a very forthright discussion at HRH last week, and there were concerns. And all those concerns were vetted. And as a result of those concerns, an amendment was put forward, which was voted on by HRH. So, but that is not included here. So the reason for that is in Commissioner Kwan's memo, which is agenda item 15.5, it very clearly states that he provides a legal and procedural analysis of a motion adopted by HRH. And then there are 5 bullet points which explain further conditions related that were beyond the mandate of the committee as an advisory body to council on parts 4 and 5 of OHA. And then it continues. There are 3 pages of it. And what I would like to say is this. I appeal to all landowners of heritage property, heritage built assets, that you consult with the Richmond Hill Historical Society and any remaining descendants from the original owners, should they still be alive in Richmond Hill. That just, in my opinion, that would give everybody a much broader context of what this heritage asset actually represents. So that's the only comment I want to make. I just feel that we could be a little bit more, that landowners could be just a bit more diligent in their in their service to the city and to the history of the city by doing that. And it's, you know, it's not a have to, it's not a must, it's a please do. So I just wanted to add that to my comments. But I am satisfied by the motion on the screen, and I will definitely be voting for it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of the motion on the screen? Opposed, that carries unanimously. All right, so we have one other item that was pulled by Regional Local Councillor Chan, 15.3.1. This is regarding the strategic plan in engagement summary consultation report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. And thank you again to staff that have been working on this. Actually, I did, following our last Wednesday meeting, I have a brief conversation with at least the manager, touching on certain things that relating to methodology that relating to is actually quite a remarkable response rate in terms of survey that I've seen in my almost, well, get to the 18th year soon here, 1,300 people. Congratulations, and also doing in a diverse manner. I will be moving the motion and the as stated, basically is to on the report itself. And I have no issue with that because basically it's not just receiving the report, consultation summary report, because it could be like a future almost not precedent, but a way to follow through with the particular. I understand from talking to staff using the social media as well. Actually, could be in different languages other than English. That would be capturing the input and arousing the interest of our diverse community in languages other than English. So it's meant to be compliment on that. And but it's also part B of the recommendation. All comments of this 2023-27 strategic plan consultation report will refer back to staff. And that's the part I want to comment on. And of course, this report in the end, when it's ready, would be for the community as a whole to comment on. So I'm moving a motion, Mr. Mayor, A to C, which I'm sure Mr. Kirk has it in front of him. On that note, in particular, I make reference to B, the comment. And last time I don't have a chance to comment last week was that specifically, I like to touch on the things mentioned about the transformation of our services, perhaps moving to more digitized services in the future. And I do understand we have a chief transformation officer here. At some point in time, not in the summary here, is that it would be good for not only myself, I think for council and members public to also maybe following out from further down the line, what's the grand transformation plan for the city of Richmond moving into the future? I think that's, I like to see that somehow pan out. And also, I don't seem to see a reference to council adopted motion back a while ago, I think earlier this year, that to look at the development of service charter. That and the my recollection is at the time it says it would be rolled into all the strategic planning exercises and whatever. So I like to see that mentioned down the line when the report will be done. How that, I know it's not in the consultation, but nonetheless, that's the comments to how to roll it in, because at the end of the day, is our staff, women and men who are working for the city, for the corporation, that serving, I like to call customers, businesses and residents, how we are really making any room for, if there any room of improvement, would further develop to have that ideal of, as what our mission statement currently said, the community come together to deliver exceptional public service. As well, partnership, which is what I want to comment on. And I would hope that down the line would be more looking at a potential partnership, not just for the naming rights, but other, even for delivery programs and so on, so on. And like seniors, we have opportunity, or we already have established partnership, but even something else, like the David Dunn Observatory Park, there may be opportunity for that as well. So again, I just want to add my comments to the motion I just put here, Mr. Chair. And I hope that will be considered as part of under B, refer back to staff for consideration. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Regional Local Councillor Paul, would you be willing to second that?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Happy to second this motion, which essentially we're receiving a report on what I think is the most important phase of our strategic plan, the community outreach and the engagement of our residents. The most important first step before creating a strategic plan is asking our residents what are their priorities. And I think what came back was largely similar to what we're hearing as councillors. And, those priorities are becoming defined. I really look forward to our staff coming forward with a draft strategic plan as they distill through the comments that they've received and in the various ways that they've reached out to the public. It certainly isn't the end of the public engagement for this strategic plan, but this is such an important plan. It's going to form the basis of everything we do, and it's going to guide us and direct our decision making. So I wholeheartedly support and second this motion, and I look forward to it coming back. And if a part of the consultation also includes hearing from members of council, I too would like to at some point revisit our mission statement, perhaps after the strategic plan is drafted, or maybe as a part, or using what comes out of this strategic plan to create a new updated defining statement. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, seeing none, we have a motion on the screen before us. All those in favor? Opposed? That carries unanimously. Okay, thank you. That concludes the items that are on the agenda. We have motion for a confirmatory bylaw for this meeting. You want to move that? Second it? Councillor Liu, Councillor Tree, all those in favor? Opposed? That carries. And finally, a motion to adjourn. Councillor Silovitz, Councillor Shu, all those